Hey guys, this is Stephanie and I'm Stacks on Stacks on Stacks. Today I'm coming to you guys with my July wrap up. I was going to say August, but it's July. It's July wrap up. Kind of a better late than never type of thing. Finally getting my wrap ups up from the summer because I just wasn't doing a lot of Monday reads then. So like I've done my last few wrap ups, I'm going to start with the book that I liked least, and then I'm going to talk about the book I liked the most. And I'm going to have two sections to this one. I'm going to talk about the books I read in July, and then I'm going to talk about the reading rush books as well, because I didn't really go into detail of my thoughts on those when I did my wrap up. Okay, so the first one we're going to talk about is The Alice Network, and this is by Kate Quinn. I had pretty high expectations for this book. I want to say it was like one of the Reese Witherspoon books of the month or something like that. The problem with that being, I don't think that Reese Witherspoon and I have the same taste in books. So when she really likes a book, that does not mean I'm going to like it. So basically I got this book because it had been kind of hyped up and it was like a historical fiction World War II book, and I'm like, that's perfect. That is right up my alley. I love those books. I did not love this book. I gave it like a 2.5 personally, maybe a 2.0 technically. There was just a lot that I didn't like about this book actually. And I also thought the cover was super pretty, which was another reason I picked it up. So yeah, I'm not sure why it's so acclaimed either. I found the majority of this to be very predictable. Very formulaic. I didn't feel like the characters had much of an arc. I feel like the three main characters basically ended where they started, just maybe in a physically different place, but like no growth. They were basically the same. They didn't change. And that's not good writing in my opinion. I did like the feeling of France World War II that she kind of gave. I really did enjoy that. But outside of that, there really wasn't a whole lot of substance to this book. Basically, in this one, we're following a girl. I've forgotten names by now, so that's what you get. And she is pregnant, and her parents like sent her over to England to get an abortion, I think. And while she's over there, she said she'd go over, but what she really meant is she's going to go search for her cousin, who supposedly died in World War II, but she probably didn't die. She's probably alive because she is a strong fighting girl, and she's probably alive through all the blitzes and all the horrible things that happened in Germany and France. She's alive. And I'm like, you're really stupid, aren't you? She was. So she goes and hunts down this woman who was a female spy, and how she found out about her, I don't even remember. And then the woman's not nice to her, but she sticks through it. And then the woman is like, okay, I'll help you, but only if you give me alcohol and all the things. And it just, the characters were very flat. Some of the side characters were okay, but the three mains were just like, I am this piece of cardboard, and I'm going to stand here, and then I'm going to stand here. Then I'm going to stand over here, and I'm going to be a piece of cardboard. And it lacked so much. So the premise of the book is, you know, these misfits are kind of all helping each other, and will things turn out on top? And I feel like most World War II books have an element of reality in them that this one did not have. So it was just okay. And then we were just after the war. So, I mean, Europe was still very much in shambles just after the war. It was not like, and everything's great now, party time. No, everything still pretty much sucked for quite a while afterwards. Like, they literally had battles over towns in France. They didn't just go back together. Like, it was devastating. It was absolutely devastating. They just ignored that. In addition to which, they kept jumping back to the older gal, like back to World War I, which is when she did her spy work. And apparently she just drank her way through World War II. I'm not sure what happened with that exactly, but they would kind of jump back and forth. And the problem was I wasn't interested in either storyline. It was a problem. So I would not recommend this book necessarily. Looking back, I'm like, I gave it a 2.5. Boy, I must have been in a good mood. It was not good. It was not good. Another not good book that I read in the month of July was Finding Fraser by K.C. Dyer. Now, this was a book club pick, so I finished it even though I really wanted to DNF it. Basically, we are following a girl who is, I don't know, in her early 30s and does not have her poop in a group. She does not know what she wants to do, and she lives in Chicago, but all she really knows is she loves the Outlander book. Loves it. Thinks it's amazing. So she decides she's going to go to Scotland and she's going to find her own Jamie Fraser. All I felt like saying through half this book is, you know it's fiction, right? Like, you know that that's not real. Maybe she doesn't know. I don't know. I really think I would have DNF'd it if it wasn't for book club and I wanted to be able to say, actually, the whole thing was crappy. I gave it like a 3.0 stars. Like, it wasn't as crappy the first 60% as the last 40%. It was better. But again, maybe I was in a good mood when I rated this one, because looking back, I'm like, I really didn't like it. It really wasn't very good. So they have a lot of like Outlander fanatic book clubs in here, which were humorous, I'm not gonna lie. And then she goes over to Scotland and she's just an idiot and bad things happen to her. But I feel like you deserve those bad things because you're an idiot. But the second half of the book, it did pick up. I feel like she finally was kind of learning from some of those mistakes and she was making better and different decisions. This is not amazing literature or amazing writing, but it was pretty good. And there were no weird sex scenes, which is always a plus in a book. So that's why I gave it a 3.8. But looking back, I think I might downgrade it to like a 2. It really wasn't very good. The next one we're going to talk about is This Time Together, Laugh and Reflection by Carol Burnett. And I listened to this one because Carol Burnett reads it and it's really fun to have her read it. And I've read this one before. It's a reread. She talks about this one like her like getting a start in show business and how her show started and like how she met her husband. I think she had more than one. I'm forgetting now. But I think I gave this like a 4.0. Like personally, like I thought it was entertaining and fun, and I gave it a 4.0 technically as well because again was entertaining and fun. And like a lot of memoirs, I read this and I feel like I know her, and I love that when I read a memoir. I love when I feel like I know somebody better after I read it, and it was just a fun ride. If you like memoirs by comedians, you'd probably enjoy this one. I also read Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, which is the 4th book in the Harry Potter series, and I gave it 5 stars. It was a reread. I love this book. This was such a good one. I actually forgot how much I liked this one. I want to say the first time I read it, I was in a hurry to get through it because I think the 5th movie had just come out, and I had to read the 5th book before we went to the movie, something along those lines. So I think I read it pretty quickly. This is not my second read. It's maybe my 3rd or 4th reread. But I forgot how much I enjoyed the Triwizard Tournament and all of those fun things. And I really did enjoy this book. Like, it's just such, Harry Potter's just good. It's just good. It's just good. So 5 stars for that one. And then the last 5-star I read was Touch by Claire North, which I do own this book, but I think I loaned it to somebody who moved, so I might not be getting it back. We will see about that. This was another book club pick for the month of July for my other book club. And I gave it 5 stars, but it was actually fun because not everybody liked this book. There were people that were giving it 2 stars. And I was like, oh, that's great. Because then we had something to kind of talk about. Here's the thing. This book, basically, we are following a guy, maybe, named Kemmler, who has the Kemmler. I think it's Kemmler. Kelsier? Kemmler? Kepler. His name is Kepler. Who can switch bodies by, like, touching you, skin to skin contact. He can jump from the body he's in to your body, and then you just get shoved aside. You don't really have memories of what happened while he was in your body or anything like that, but he has full control. He can do whatever he wants. He could sell you on the black market. He can do whatever he wants, but he's a good person. I say person in parentheses because he's kind of not human. They explain it as more of like what humans are evolving towards. At one point he was getting killed, I think stabbed, and he grabbed the hand of that person and he transferred bodies, like in this panic state. So I'm pretty sure he's like 300 years old and he just kind of jumps bodies, but he likes to jump to bodies of the people that are good. He likes to do good things for them. He likes to leave them in better condition than he took them. He likes to have their permission, like things like that. So he's not a bad person. But basically in this one, there are people that are hunting him and people like him, because there are others like him as well. And they are just straight up trying to kill him. So if he dies in a body, he dies. He's done. Him and that body, they're both dead. So of course, he like infiltrates and starts to try and see himself through the eyes of that killer and things like that. But this was really fun. He's very smart and he's very creative. And watching this kind of thriller-esque thing happen through the eyes of somebody that keeps changing was really interesting as well. I did enjoy this. Like I said, not everybody enjoyed it as well. Some people felt like there were too many questions left unanswered. Some people felt like it was actually hard to follow as he would change bodies. It was almost like the personality would change just a little bit as well, and they felt like they were reading from a new character, which I don't disagree, but I felt like that was part of what was fun about it. I liked that about this, and I enjoyed the book. I do think there are people who don't love Claire North's writing. I think I do like her writing. So I think I'll be reading more books by her. This one for me was a 5-star and I totally enjoyed it. Next, I'm going to talk about my 7 books that I read for the reading rush. I did talk about these briefly, so I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but I am going to go into more than I did before. I have the 4 little Doctor Who books that I read. The first one was Jack and the Wormhole, which all of these are pretty cute. They're like fairy tales in the Doctor Who universe world. This one is following Jack, who's like burying some foreign device or something on his farm, and then he gets swept into a wormhole. They're really short, so I can't tell you too much about them. And then his experience with that, and these are really, really cute. The next one is Snow White and the 7 Keys to Doomsday. So this one kind of takes the Snow White story and changes it up a little bit. Basically, in this one, a doomsday device was invented. These keys, you have to have all 7 of them to make it work. However, the keys have been hidden, and the guy who made it is now dead. But the current royalty, the queen, is like, I will find those, and I'm gonna kill some stuff. And Snow White is a servant in the castle, and she's going to stop her. So it's like there are fairy tales, but they're different, but actually kind of like these just a little bit better. Frozen Beauty might have been my least favorite one. I'm trying to remember what this one was. Oh, this was a chick who was on a spaceship and she was frozen. And then the guys come and get her and other things happen. It was good. This one was my favorite, Helena and the Beast. This is very much Beauty and the Beast. A woman who trades herself for her father, and she's there in a room with all the books, and who walks in but in my eyes? The 10th Doctor. And I was so happy. I was like, oh my goodness, David Tennant just walked into this book. And he helped her, and he gave her some advice, and then, the Beast turns into a human and everything's great. I loved these. These were so cute, and I'm glad that I saved them for something like the Reading Rush. And matter of fact, I have more. I think there's 12 in the series, so I'm pretty excited that I have more backups for the next time I have to read 7 books in a week, because I can't read 7 books in a week. I did also read The Dreamer by Laura Innes, which is the first volume of the series with a girl who when she goes to sleep, she's dreaming about the Revolutionary War, but then she wakes up, she's in her life, but the Revolutionary War feels so real. Is that the real part, or is her real life the real part? Who knows? You have to read the book to find out. I loved this. I think I gave it, if not 5 stars, almost 5 stars. And I loved the illustrations as well. The whole thing was great. It was probably one of the best graphics I've read. I definitely enjoyed it. I also read Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. I know, it's so bad. This one was pretty cute. I actually think I did watch the movie with it as well, because that's what the prompt was. I think I liked the movie a little bit better than the book. They added some things to it. They were like, oh, we're going to add these things and make it better and make it bigger. And it really did make it bigger and better. And I did like that. I did. Basically, in this one, we're following a prince who has his own planet. And then he kind of hops off his planet and goes onto Earth and gets to know a guy who is a pilot. And he talks about all the things that he's seen in all these other planets and all this stuff. And the pilot kind of talks about war and sad things. And then the boy's like, maybe my planet isn't so bad after all. And then he has to figure out a way to get back onto his planet. I did like this. I mean, it was written in the 50s, I think. It is not new. And it is a kid's book, but it has a little deeper meaning than a lot of kids' books do too, I think. Or maybe that's just the way the French had their kids' books in the 50s. I don't know. It does have some illustrations, not a ton, but some. And they are cute. But yeah, all in all, I enjoyed it. I think I might have given it 3 stars. I didn't love it, but it was fine. And then the last one I gave 1 star to because I couldn't give it less was Damsel by Elena K. Arnold. This book was horrible. And the problem is the cover is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And this book is terrible. The whole point of this book is that this prince goes and saves this princess. Then she's going to be his queen and they're going to get married and she's going to be queen of the castle and all this kind of stuff. And it's supposed to be kind of fairy tale-esque, except the prior queen is still there and she's kind of dying, but kind of not dying. And the princess can't quite like communicate with her. Also, the princess has no memories. She doesn't know who she was, where she's from, anything like that. And that does not seem to worry the prince at all. He's like, yeah, of course you don't. And he's smug and he's kind of a crap bag. And she's very drawn to leaving and running away and wants to be free and doesn't want to be around him and doesn't understand these things. And the whole point of the book is that the end, the damsel saves herself. Like, that's the point of the book, which the point of the book is fine, but like 80% of the content was just horrible. Like, there's like rape scenes in here and there's bestiality in here and there's just like this conquering man. And I know the whole point is to make it look like, oh, he's a conquering man. He's a horrible person. So this conquering man thing is bad. Like, I think we all know it's bad though. I don't think you need to rate it like this. It was not good. It was not good writing for starters. It was not good plot. Well, I shouldn't say that. The plot itself, the bare bones of the plot, I guess I'm okay with, but it was not good. I don't know, with a cover this pretty, I thought it would have something redeeming about it, but it didn't. It was not good. None of it was good. I even had Mark like read a page or something, and it, again, wasn't good. None of the characters are particularly interesting or likable. They don't have arcs, like, at all. And there's even like a fairly good surprise at the end, which I called halfway through the book, and I expected that to kind of change some of the characters, and it didn't. Like, they were all flat. They did nothing. They went nowhere. None of it was good. And I was just disappointed that I spent time reading this book. And it's a steaming pile of crap. So, you see, guys, that is why I like to talk about bad books at the beginning and the good books at the end. Because I talked about the bad book at the end on accident. And now I'm grumpy. And Mark's going to have to live with that. But that is all I have for you guys today. Go ahead and leave a comment down below if you have read any of these. Thoughts about any of them. If you liked Damsel or found something redeeming in it, that would interest me. I would be interested to see what you thought about that one, or Finding Fraser, or the Alice Network. Boy, this was a rough reading month, wasn't it? Anyway, go ahead and leave your comments down below. I love reading your comments. Let me know what you thought of any of these. Feel free to like, feel free to subscribe, and feel free to come back soon because I will have another video at some point. All right, bye guys.